Welcome, friends! It is I, LostScarf, and it's time for the Short Smite Beginner Guide to Nox. That's right, the goddess of the night, who's got all the might when she's not in the light, is here. Okay, so Nox is a very fun mage. She's really strong. The problem is, it takes a bit of skill to play her pretty well, and hopefully this beginner guide will help you ease into playing her so that you get good with her, because she can be a very effective god in this game. As always, we're going to go over her abilities, her class and roles, tips and combos, purchases you should consider for her, and of course, conclusion to wrap it all up. This is a beginner guide. Expert and advanced players, you're going to know a lot about her already. Hopefully, maybe you learned something here, but even if you don't learn anything, if there's anything you see that I don't elaborate on enough, talk about it in the comments so that viewers have more they can talk about. So let's go ahead and get going. Nox abilities. First up is her passive Flame of Night. Every time she casts an ability, she gains a stack of plus 3% to her magical power. Maximum 12%. Every time she takes damage, she loses a stack though. So if you get all the way full with 4 stacks, you have to get hit 4 times to lose those stacks. The damage over time gods can really mess her up. First ability, Shadow Lock. This is a crippling root attack that attaches to the first god she hits. She is kind of chained to them while she's hitting them with this damage over time, which does keep her vulnerable, but it does keep that enemy god there for teammates to beat up on. Second ability, Siphon Darkness. This is a large AoE attack that silences gods in it and explodes after 2 seconds. So teaming that up with Shadow Lock can be really good. Third ability, Shadow Step. This is a damaging dash that goes through all enemies. If she goes into an ally though, she hides inside them. You can also cast it early again while she's in somebody to explode out and cause more damage, or just stay in them to get away from a bad situation. And finally is her ultimate, Night Terror. This is a skill shot that bursts wherever it lands on enemy gods, and it deals damage, and affected enemy gods deal 30% less damage for 5 seconds. It has a little bit of charge up time before she throws it, so you gotta learn how to time that. Class and roles. So Nox is a mage, so she's a glass cannon capable of doing lots of damage, but very easy to kill. She's on the spectrum of mages that are capable of doing a lot of CC to control the field pretty well. This is because of her crippling root, a large AoE silence, and an ultimate that can reduce enemy damage. Her dash allows her to kill or escape very well, so that's all very helpful for her. When it comes to beginner role, it's got to be the mid. She's a really good mage there. She can cause a lot of trouble for the enemy mid laner if she can land her silence and her crippling root at the same time. Causes a lot of trouble there. But you can also just focus on farming if you're not so confident in doing that combo. And you can also, though, set up silence or the root on an enemy for ganks to cause a lot of trouble when your teammates want to come over and do some work. Now, when it comes to team fights, you're very difficult for the enemy to deal with because of that silence, and because of your root, and because of your ability to reduce damage with your ultimate. As long as you're just constantly running around and being annoying to your enemies, you can just do a lot of work, and you can just escape into an ally if you need to. You can do just so many things and be very annoying in lane and out of it, that you can cause a lot of headaches. Tips and combos. So first up are the tips. Try not to get hit to maintain passive. Pretty simple, just saying it, try not to get hit. Next one, Shadow Lock and Siphon Darkness can cause strong ganks. Talked about it earlier, they're just really good because of silence, the crippling root. If you can get them combined, the enemy's probably going to die if you have teammates coming over to help out. Next one, dashing into allies can be great defensively and offensively because you can do an explosion for more damage, or just run away with a teammate, especially if they have a leap, it's very helpful. Now here's an interesting tip right here. You can sit inside Athena, Thor, Apollo, Thanatos for extra damage on their ults because, well, in Athena you can go with her for the big dunk from her ult, Thor the same thing, Apollo for his flying around and going down, and Thanatos with his ultimate. You can be inside gods when they're in the air. That is so helpful to do for you and for them to cause more trouble or to get away. And lastly, save Night Terror for guaranteed kills or big team fights to reduce damage. When you get a really good clustered attack with that ultimate, you can reduce all their damage so they don't do as much as your teammates, or you can just kill some people or just hurt them enough that your teammates will get some kills because of that ultimate. Now when it comes to combos, there is one combo. 2-1-4. That is it. You can put a dash in there if you want, but it's just silencing the enemy god, getting the root on them so they take damage from both abilities, using the ultimate to finish off if you need to, or you can dash into to finish them off. It's up to you what you want to do and whatever your situation is. But 2-1 is your combo. It does a lot of damage, and later on, if you get fed enough, or just build right, you can kill gods very badly with it. Purchases for Nox. Now this is very simple. Power, pen, cooldown. Nox destroys gods very badly. You just have to be able to land your shots. Power and pen, if you do it right, will do a lot of mayhem. Cooldown is so you can do it more often. Lifesteal can be helpful, which will keep you alive, but really power, pen, and cooldown, you can win the game just with that. Now when it comes to relics, the usual 4 are pretty helpful. You can go ahead and use Purification Sanctuary to stay alive, Sprint to get around or to the enemy easier, or Curse to get around or get to the enemy easier, depending on what you need to do. It's up to you what you feel will work best, but those 4 are always solid on her. In conclusion, Nox is a god that can control a fight very well thanks to her silence, crippling root, and damage reduction ultimate. She can also be hard to catch or cause more damage with her dash. If you can time your abilities very well and coordinate with teammates, the Knight will fall on your enemies and they will never see the light again. That's it for the Nox guide. As always, you should share with your buddies, that way they have another god they can try out or be comfortable with, or just understand how to fight them a little bit from just gaining more knowledge. That's what's important about these guides. More knowledge means more power, right? So next god's going to be Nuwa, and she's a pretty fun god, also a mid god. She's a great mage. She can cause a lot of trouble. Mages are usually really good at causing trouble just by hurting a lot or by controlling a lot, and Nuwa's another god like that. So there you go, that right there is the guide. I had fun making it, hope you had fun watching it, and that's what it's all about, isn't it? Having fun. Thanks for coming by, and see you next time.